Here's a tattoo update. Looks pretty rough. It's a little tender to the touch. It's not bad. It's not really noticeable unless I'm wearing something long sleeves and it's rubbing against it or something like that. But otherwise, it's not too bad. It's a little swollen, not as much as it was. It's definitely starting to look like the beginnings of a scab. Figured I'd also mention my tear over here. So it's turned this nice greenish color, and it's a little farther over than I originally thought, which makes me wonder if it's a front delt tear rather than a pec. I'm not really sure. Like when I'm not moving around for a while, it still feels kind of achy, but it's not really a sharp pain or anything. It's just like an ache. But it's a nice green color now, a little bit bigger than it was originally, probably just because it hadn't set in yet. I don't know how long. I'm probably not going to do much, if any, weight training until this goes away entirely, and then I'm probably going to ease back into it because I'm really afraid of exacerbating it, re-tearing it, keeping it from healing. So I guess for now it's just like some light cardio 2 or 3 days a week, which bums me out, but every single time somebody does not want me to leave the house. Fits. This commute is getting pretty old. On top of the hassle of this commute, I find it less than favorable that 3 days a week I have to spend a large amount of time on campus between classes. And I don't feel like I can do schoolwork during that time because I can't concentrate, I can't get comfortable. There's always distractions of some kind, and I really prefer silence. I'm working. And so during that extra time, I end up just, goofing off, doing some pleasurable reading. It's all good and well, or just surfing the internet, doing YouTube. But it's not time well spent. I think next semester, I'm going to make a concerted effort to try and get all my classes clumped together so I can kind of minimize this wasted time, which is basically what it is. Because I don't know, it's lame. There's no way around the commute. I can't make this any more pleasurable other than listening to an audiobook or talk radio or something, but really want to make the most of my time. Right now, I'm pretty confident that I like my major, which is computer science. Obviously, I don't have any major related classes yet because I'm not even halfway through my first semester. But I think I like it. I think that's, what I'm most interested in right now. Like I said, I'm not even halfway through my first semester. And I think it would be a little naive to not consider different plans if I decide that it's too difficult for me or I ultimately don't like it for whatever reason. I think it's always a good idea to have at least a plan B. So I've been considering other majors just in case, things that I might be interested in. Obviously, most of them are driven by pragmatism, so as much as I might enjoy underwater basket weaving, it doesn't translate well into the job market, then there's no sense in me doing it regardless of how much I enjoy it. One thing that has kind of annoyed me lately, we have yet to get our student loan. So we did the FAFSA thing, we didn't go through our bank or anything like that. And here we are, a month into classes, and we don't have that money, which I think is pretty silly. The purpose of a student loan is so you can pay for life while you're in college, then I feel like you should get that as soon as possible. Now, granted, in our case, it's not a huge deal because we have a savings account, and it's basically 6 of one, half dozen of the other, because when we do get that loan, it'll just replenish the savings that we've been using. I just think it's kind of the principle of the matter that irritates me more than anything, because that seems really silly. The government sucks. I would know. I worked for them for a while. Sometimes they're just too slow. Speaking of too slow government, so I filed my VA claim back in our 3rd week of June. Yeah, so that was the end of June. My paperwork got submitted. I was told it would take a while, I'm sure. And there's a website that I monitor it through, ebenefits.gov mainly. And I log on like probably once a week just to see where it's at. And it literally has not moved. So that's pretty irritating. And on the website it says projected completion date is between November and January. So at this rate, I don't even think that's gonna happen. So another reason why big government sucks. So if anyone is ever curious as to what we're shooting with, the point and shoot we're using is this little Canon Power Shot, and I have it on this basically mini Gorilla Pod. Works pretty well. My parents got it for me for deployment. I didn't use it a whole lot. I mainly used my cell phone because this only shoots 720 and my old cell phone shot in 1080. But these are really cheap now, like I think less than $100, and it serves its purpose really well. It's small. Even when it's on the Gorilla Pod, I can throw it in my pocket if I want to. And then we also have this 5200 with just basically the kit lens, the 18 to 55, and we have an external, I think this is a Smith Vector microphone that was pretty cheap as well, like I don't know, like $20 or $30. Seems to do the job pretty well. The first camera I ever had was a Canon Rebel, and that was of course film, and I loved that. And then after that I got a Nikon, I believe it was a D40, and that was only 6 megapixels. Didn't shoot video, but I used the heck out of it. Then, it's probably been 6 or 7 months now, we bought this from a friend who was wanted to sell it. And this is like the greatest thing ever, and it's crazy how far technology has come, because this costs about the same thing new as my D40 did, like, 6 years ago. And this is more than enough for us. I mean, it shoots 1080 60. I don't usually shoot in 60 frames per second because it looks kind of unnatural, but it serves its purpose really well, and I like it a lot. I always find it always really interesting to me when I see vloggers using really expensive camera like Canon 70Ds, which seems to be like the official vlogging camera of YouTube, or those really high-end Sony Alphas, like those $1,000 point and shoots. It seems really crazy and a little bit overkill that people use that, and they use like Gorilla Pods. They don't use any kind of gimbal or stabilizer for the most part, based on what I've seen. I don't know, but what do I know? I have 7 subscribers. I think this will serve us well for a long time, until it breaks. I don't see any reason to upgrade the DSLR, or even this really. I mean, it works just fine. 720p is no big deal. Right now we are editing with Apple Movie Maker, which is okay, but it's I don't like it. It's not the best. Right now it's not really feasible to upgrade to something like Final Cut or something that Sony makes, just because of the price, and it would be nice, and maybe if we had a lot more viewers and subscribers and stuff, that would be a little bit more warranted, and it would be a welcome change. But right now I think we're gonna stick with Movie Maker. I don't think it takes anything crazy to make quality stuff. I think the camera is only a small portion of the quality. Of course, editing, how the camera is used, framing, all of that stuff, as long as you're putting in a reasonable amount of effort. I'm gonna be so very glad when election season is over. I'm tired of hearing political commercials all the time. I didn't vote last time around for president. This time I'm going to. I'm not going to say who for, but it's getting really old. I understand it's important, but only ever seems to be he said, she said. I feel like it's 95% crap and 5% important information. It's like a deluge of crap. And it's nice to see that all of these social and political movements, especially on the part of young adults, it's good that people are expressing their concern for various things, using their influence to bring attention to important matters. I think even that gets a little out of hand when everyone with a social media account assumes that the rest of the world wants to hear their opinion about things, and everyone thinks they have an opinion that just absolutely must be shared. And that gets old. Everyone's so self-righteous, and I don't think people leave a lot of room for conversation and understanding. I think most of the time it's just people trying to convince other people why they're right and why that other person's opinion is stupid or ignorant or whatever. I want to live my life, do my deal, and go about my day without getting Trump and Hillary thrown at me. So it's hump day. Got out of my last class 10 minutes early, and I decided to get myself a nice pumpkin spice latte. All things considered, today's a good day.